from a legal perspective, it's the idea that she keeps her job for now. What does the "for now" mean here?
Well, it means until the court rules, which they said wouldn't be until sometime after January because they're going to hear oral arguments in the case in January. It's a rather long postponement of the decision by the court, although anything's possible these days. One reason may be that they are taking up the case of the FTC commissioner that the president is trying to fire, whom the court allowed to be fired. But they're going to hear arguments in that case in December. And because some of these previous cases have involved the Federal Reserve, and the court has suggested there may be some slack given to the Fed that isn't given to these other agencies, it may be that they want to consider the cases more or less sort of together at the same time to think about how one affects the other. That is one reason that they may have punted on this for the time being.
So for those who are in favor of her staying on the Fed board, they shouldn't open up the champagne or anything and celebrate yet, because there's still some hurdles to go.
There's still some hurdles to go. They will have a hearing in January, and we don't know if that means that it would be something that gets delayed in terms of a decision in the same way that a normal case would be, because they're not taking the case itself. They're taking the emergency application that the administration put forward to just let her be fired. The case itself would go through the lower courts first and maybe eventually make its way back up.
Having said that, the Supreme Court could have said, yes, President Trump, okay?
Yes, and some legal analysts are suggesting that means that they do have some thought that she might be in the right, and that she might be able, the president might not be able to fire her directly.
All right. Speaking of personnel in the federal government, Molly, I want to bring you in. You and the team writing a great story about the White House pulling the nomination to lead the Bureau of Labor Statistics. What happened? Because it feels like a little bit of an unusual move by a White House that's rather deliberate in its actions and kind of doesn't take it unless it knows things are going to stick.
So we had been wondering if there was something going on with this nomination, because we knew that the Senate committee that would have heard the nomination proceedings for this candidate, whose name is EJ Antoni, that they had already received the paperwork and were going to hold a hearing for this nomination several weeks ago. So we're wondering what the holdup is. Already had an indication that there was one Republican senator who said that she had, quote, extreme reservations about the nominee, and that her vote alone could have blocked this nomination from proceeding because the Republicans in this particular Senate committee only have a one-seat majority. So that really could have throttled the whole thing. And we just heard from the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, say in the briefing that it looked like they weren't going to have the votes to get this through. So they withdrew the nomination last night. They said they look forward to putting forth a new candidate soon. Either way, though, we still have the acting commissioner in place. So that's who had been the deputy commissioner before, Bill Wyatrowski. He's been at BLS for 50 years or so. So he's a pretty experienced guy. He knows what's going on.
Sounds like it.
Is it possible he'd be the White House's pick?
I doubt it, just given that they seem to want somebody who's probably a bit more overtly aligned with the administration's views. And Wyatrowski is considered to be more of a career BLS technocrat, which is not something that the White House would seem keen to want to go forward with.
Well, as we continue to watch the government shutdown, Mike, I guess we're not going to get data on Friday, right? We know that's a given.
They're going to vote one more time in the Senate on trying to get the CR passed. It doesn't look like it's going to succeed. If it did succeed, they could put the report out because the data are all finished. It's just a matter of giving it to the commissioner, Mr. Wyatrowski, and then having him transmit it to the White House ahead of time. But if we don't get that today, we will not have the jobs report on Friday. We won't have jobless claims tomorrow. Tomorrow being Yom Kippur, there's no Senate meeting, so they can't vote again.